Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Jackson County Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuesday, December 29th of 2020. And with us today, we have KMAQ, the radio station is online. We have Kelly in person here today. Luann, our executive assistant, is in the background. Lisa, our county auditor. Good morning. And Jeannie, it looks like from the assessor's office. Shelley is on with us. Larry McDevitt, Jack Willie, and myself, Mike Steinitz, are your county supervisors. And welcome everyone, and be prepared for this afternoon. First on our agenda today is to swear in the newly elected county officials. So I am going to turn it, is that on, Jack, so they can see Jack?
Yeah, they can see me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay.
I'm going to turn it over to
I
Jack,
just have to step back.
our senior supervisor.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, you wanna go back there, Brent? You would just repeat after me. I, Brent Kilberg,
I, Brent Kilberg,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all of the duties of the office of sheriff in Jackson County
discharge all of the duties of the office of sheriff in Jackson County
as now or hereafter required by law.
as now or hereafter required by law.
You are sworn in. Congratulations. You want to say?
No, just thanks a lot to the community, and I know there's high expectations, and I hope I can meet and exceed those, and looking forward to doing a great job for everybody.
We look forward to working with you.
I appreciate all the support. Thank you. All right.
Okay. Okay, Mike. Picture.
And your certificate.
My wife.
Yes, I want you to sign your oath that Jack has.
Okay. Mike, repeat after me. I, Mike Steinitz,
I, Mike Steinitz,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
that I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all the duties of the office of supervisor
discharge all the duties of the office of supervisor
in Jackson County
in Jackson County, Iowa,
as now or hereafter required by law.
as now and hereafter required by law.
You are sworn in.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I'd just like to thank everyone also for their past and continued support. A lot of decisions sometimes are not favorable to everyone, but we do the best we can with the knowledge that we have, and we certainly take all comments and criticism and whatever it may be seriously. So feel free to come forward whenever you want. Thank you all. Thanks.
And Mike, if I could have you sign your oath, please.
And I, Alyssa Smith,
I, Elisa Smith,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
and I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all the duties of the office of auditor in Jackson County
discharge the duties of the auditor in Jackson County
as now or hereafter required by law.
as now or hereafter required by law.
You are
Thank you.
installed.
And thank you all. That's, I think that's just a great way. Thank you all. I think, 2020 has been such an awesome year, and it's got good news and bad news. But, the best thing is that we came through the election with, I give it a B+ to an A-. So I appreciate everyone's support and supporting the office of the auditor's office. And again, I publicly would like to thank my employees, because without them, I can't do this job. So just one more time, I'd like to thank my employees, Mary Stickley, Becky Chapin, Bjorn Beck, Danielle Bickford, and Shelley Hoy. Thank you.
It's a great team.
It's a wonderful
Great
team.
team.
It's a great team to be in Jackson County. So welcome everybody to Team Jackson County.
And thank you, everybody, for being here. It's an important day for Jackson County.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the
Thank
opportunity.
you.
Good luck.
Mike, here is your certificate also. Congratulations to you. Yeah,
And
Oh,
giving you a hug.
that's right. Couldn't do it without you, Jack. Couldn't do it without you.
Do you want them all together up here? Agree that we're-
You know what?
Yeah.
Let's do that and move that chair out of the way. We should have moved that out of the way. We're a little behind there.
I want to be on the right side of the law.
I'm okay with this over here. I'm okay with this side.
That's who you want.
Chance me if you can.
Thank you.
You good, Jane? Okay. Thanks, guys.
Tell me if you have any questions. Yeah, okay, sounds good. Yep.
Here's one too.
Okay, let's loosen up a little bit here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I thank everyone for your time there and putting up with us. Guess we get rid of all the tears and so it is emotional, and it's a work in progress, and respect the office that you've been elected to. So
It's a great day.
yeah, and we do have a good working team here in Jackson County, and as you said before, we do work as a team, and we expect all offices to do the same. So thank you all for that. Okay, first on our agenda today is David available?
Okay, thank you.
You must be out in the hall waiting.
Are there any visitors or citizens from the public that would like to comment or have any comments or criticism or?
That's the most amount of people we've had in here in months.
Yeah.
Probably for a year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we've had a whole year and,
Yeah.
one day.
Good morning, David.
Good morning.
And with us today is David Dreyer, our Jackson County engineer.
I just have one question before you start.
Okay,
Do you have the snow plows ready?
you're ready.
No, you know what, we need to-
Roger is working on it. We're expecting the snow to start in at about 3 this afternoon and continue through the night. So I don't have any formal presentation or anything, but I'm available to answer questions and to review the
Nothing
snow
on.
policy. I know there was some questions about the inch that fell this past Sunday and things. We're gonna take a look at the policy, see how it compares to the counties that surround us, and see where we fall within the milieu and go from there.
Yeah, so we sent a few text messages back and forth yesterday and a few concerns from the public, and I passed them right along to David. So he's on the hot seat. And I appreciate that, David. I do. I explained to them that you're the man in charge of that office, and so I pass your information along to them. And
It's helpful. Let's me and the supervisors get out there and look at the conditions and see if anything can be addressed. Bellevue Cascade was a complaint yesterday. We took a look at it. It was 2:30 in the afternoon. Of course, but it was clear except where the road ran through cuts and was in shade and things. So you need to have the sun hit it to get to bare pavement, because a plow will not clear the bare pavement. It's the sun and salt and sand and traffic action. Unlike the state, we don't have as much traffic, so that's generally why the state roads will be clearer generally, in city streets and things like that, where you have thousands of vehicles a day churning up the material and the salt and sand and things. So.
Well, I was surprised last night on Channel 6 News, they interviewed Frank from Macokota
I did see that.
and showed him with the plows and everything, you know. And then the newscasters, and I'm hoping that the rain is supposed to follow the snow.
Yeah, not
So let's
before.
hope that the snow comes first. It's a lot easier to clean up if the ice is on top and not underneath that snow.
Roger told me that Clinton County's road supervisor called him with respect to the snow from Sunday. And, you know, said that was the hardest snow to have cleared because I think the pavement was warm. And so the snow was able to hit it, freeze, and then kind of
Adhere
adhere
to
to
it,
it. So it was that
Well, I
much
noticed
harder
that
to
just
get.
on my driveway
Yeah,
because we shoveled, but there was just like a coating
Yeah.
over that you just couldn't scrape up.
Well, this will be a test for us and your department, of course, and I know they're up to it. We just hope that the public is considerate to your personnel also for the safety of them. Again, it's conditions where you've got a 40-ton truck out there maneuvering also, so be considerate. And these people are working their due diligence for the safety of the public. So when the weatherman says it's a snow advisory and an emergency warning, a storm warning, then do as they say, please, and stay home, and
Amen.
everybody stay safe. Appreciate it, Dave, and good luck to you and your crew.
thank you.
Yep,
We'll be talking.
we will.
You will.
I have your number. All right, so I don't know, is Marty available? Lisa, would you like to?
You know, I talked to Marty yesterday. He said that he was coming into the boardroom today.
Okay,
so I
well-
think if you want, we can just kind of hop around.
Sure. Would you like to, do you have your?
Absolutely, just my text on this morning. So this morning, I do need a motion to approve the minutes of the December 22nd, 2020 board proceedings as written by Auditor Smith and authorized publication in the official newspaper.
So,
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the December 22nd, 2020 board proceedings as written by Auditor Smith. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Just one other thing that I'd like to discuss today. First off, I do see that our bins have been delivered by Dittmer this morning or sometime maybe yesterday, I don't know. So we have, because of Rockwell ceasing operations December 31st, we have contacted and we will be using Dittmer here at the courthouse and at the jail for our garbage and recycling services. So that's the first thing. And I know last week we did talk about the rural residents close to Macokota as far as what they're going to do. I know that we've had some issues with the bin up in Iron Hill. And I know that we had talked about, putting a bin at Dittmer's recycling facility here in Macokota. So I guess I just wanted to know what the board's feelings or thoughts on that. If you're interested, we need to pursue it. And if you want to just do it month by month and see how it goes, I won't say any abuse because I think that's the wrong word to use. At least people are recycling, but we would encourage the rural residents to use that.
I think we owe it to them to do that. I know that I've had quite a few calls about why, they don't want to have to drive to
Mhm.
the landfill. They don't want to have to drive to Otter Creek. They don't want to have to drive to Iron Hill.
Yeah.
And I think that we should give it at least a trial run to see how it's respected and see what we can do. Because as you indicated, Iron Hill, when you go up on Sunday, it's always overflowing.
Yeah,
And so, I just think that, it's a goodwill service for the people that live surrounding Macokota, as long as it's Jackson County residents.
I agree.
I think we're certainly committed to a recycle program.
Yeah.
So, that is part of it. I know we look back at the budget and we think we're budgeted okay to make this work. Just some information. So it will be $100 a month for the rental of the bin. which he has to order. So I don't know what kind of commitment he wants out of that. Like you said, if it's a trial basis or what it is, but, and then it's $75 per empty. He has to load it, physically load it, take it to a scale, weigh it, because it's $40 a ton, just like every other bin we have. So he's really given us a good rate on that. We do hope that the people or the citizens and the of the city of Macokota respect that bin and use their curbside recycle, so we don't have an issue with rural residents that have room for their recyclables in there within.
Absolutely.
We're gonna say within a 5 to 7 mile radius of Macokota. So yeah, whatever.
And I would certainly
course.
think that, you talk about a trial, but I really think that if we agree for a year and see how it works out, because I agree, it's a big expense to buy the container, and if it's abused, I guess we'll have to address it at that point in time, but I would be
And he
willing
does
to-
have his, well, that's why it took us a few months. He was getting prepared to get his lot prepared for it. He does have his surveillance cameras up, so he's ready for that. And he's got the building in place and lighting as he would like it out there. So we respect him for that, and hopefully this works out for the better for everyone,
And it should make the difference because there's a lot of county west of Macokota that goes to Iron Hill. So it's a huge area going.
Well, you got Iron Hill and Otter Creek, so they're basically on the west side, and you got Preston and Bellevue on the other side, kind of in the middle. So it's nice to have something here local that we can use, and hopefully that
It's
works
needed.
out.
I think it'll work out good.
Yep. So I
Will you
think
make
we're,
that phone call then?
sure,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yes.
I will get with him, and he says it'll probably take a month. I talked to him, take a month to get the bin as long as we go ahead with it, and so we'll move forward with it.
I think that's wonderful news for Jackson.
And
I agree.
do we need to put that, it's actually on the agenda,
It was actually a part of my agenda.
so we can take action on that. We can have a motion to move
I
forward.
would so move.
I would second.
I have a motion and a second to move forward with the rural recycling program to have a bin located at the Dittmer Recycle lot, his building and lot on the east side of town by Jacobson Drive, and proceed as possible, or proceed as presented with that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
And that's
Would
all
that
that I
then
have for
become
the
a-
year.
Would that become an addendum to his contract?
Well, I talked to Sarah about that. We just kind of thought maybe we would just, for right now, just stick with a month to month.
Okay.
If you want something formally done, I would get back to Sarah, and we were hopefully gonna do just a month by month.
I think we'll have a conversation with Scott, see what he's comfortable with,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, okay.
he's been real reasonable to work with as far as here at the
Honestly,
courthouse, and
I would agree. I mean, when I made my phone calls up there, I called yesterday morning and the bins are delivered today, so.
Sounds good.
Just that picking up recycling here at the courthouse, and I think Marty would probably agree since he's here, that's just gonna be a huge time and money saver to us.
well, for your men or your personnel to be running out to Iron Hill is, that's a 45-minute trip, Stop, get coffee,
Drive, but we don't need to do it.
coffee and donuts, and
Except that road from the Macokota River to Iron Hill is pretty bumpy.
Oh, yeah.
We always go up the gate.
it is, yeah. Well, you gotta stop for coffee and
Morning.
donuts. Good morning.
Morning.
Wait
Just a few things.
a minute,
Okay.
I gotta catch up here.
All right.
Right, notes.
So
So joining us today would be Marty Hoodlick, our maintenance supervisor.
Morning.
Good morning, Marty.
I did get the building straight.
I heard, I'm gonna go see it, but Mike said it really looked good.
Yeah, actually, I left it lean 2 inches to the south because I knew I wasn't gonna get there to brace it up. And Monday when I went there, it was actually leaning an inch to the north. So I put a cable on the other side, pulling it back. I wanna leave it sit there a little bit so it settles down. And it went east instead of west. It's leaning to the east, so I gotta put a cable. We're running out of come-alongs. Mike Babcock is gonna bring one from home. I brought one from home. He's brought 3 of them. So I'm gonna put one and pull it this way to make sure that it don't keep going to the east. And then once we get that done, I'm gonna leave it sit there for a week or so. and then, we'll brace it up in the inside.
I never really went inside of it, Marty. So are them cables diagonal up to the front plate or
Yep.
are they, okay, so they
They're-
can't
they're
stay there by any way means, or we can't leave them I-beams in there attached to the back plate either?
No.
No.
Cause they go through the back wall.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
but I mean, even after you take them off, you got it braced up on the inside, you take them off, could you attach them to the plate in the backside of it just to, for extra support? I
Well,
think
you
what I,
could. What I plan on doing is just taking some 1/2-inch plywood on the inside and nailing it there and on there, and I'm sure it'll stay.
if we're much better off with 3/4, I would go with 3/4 probably than
Well,
half. I don't
you
see,
can
I
go
don't see a lot of,
3/4, but
I don't see a
yeah.
lot of support. Yeah.
All right,
760.
we'll certainly do that, and then I'll put a couple on the back, and I'm gonna have to buy like 6 boards where I ran the cables through the wall, because I couldn't get up on top to pull a nail, so I just busted them so I could run my cables through there.
Not a problem.
All right.
I know there was a structure close to town that they tore all the board off and put all new on. So I don't know if they still have that around or not, if he wants their regular board, but I can check into it.
Yeah.
I
Who's
guess,
gonna help you?
We mean,
Are you gonna go do that alone?
what?
Up at the, when you talk about putting the plywood on?
Oh, no, Mike will come and help me.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you're aware though, Dave,
David?
yeah, sorry. Dave gave me 2 guys, the backhoe, furnished all the cable clamps, the cables. Yeah, and then I had to rented 2, I thought it would pull real hard because it was leaning bad, but it didn't. I rented 2 3.5 ton come-alongs, and then Mike Babcock donated 2, and we just like this, and it come right back over. I was surprised.
I
that it
think we're
pulled
lucky
it.
it didn't go over.
Yeah, we
Well,
are.
the only thing that was holding it was the fence post on the southwest corner. That fence post, I'm sure was holding it, because it was into that board that much, from the pressure.
Well, I think that 8 to 10 inches of snow might have done her in if we,
Yeah.
Well, apparently it didn't want to go over, because if all that snow on the road didn't make it go over, it was,
Well,
No,
the
we
wind
should-
we've had lately.
yeah.
Yeah.
we sure appreciate the secondary roads helping out. And we, like I said, we are good neighbors, so we will certainly compensate back and forth goodwill or in-kind work or, rent or whatever we can do. So
I already bought the workers donuts, so that's probably enough.
So we'll deduct $3.99.
Anyway, other things I did, I put for the fire extinguisher, was it for insurance?
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, we had to put signs up above the fire extinguisher saying that the fire extinguisher is here. We got them done. I'm almost positive I'm ready for snow. Had a little problem getting the spreader going, which I do every year because it's salt and sand in it, and I try to power wash it off, but it's still sitting there like that.
it's in a corrosive.
Yeah, and it just
Atmosphere.
doesn't like to get going, but I got it going again.
You oil that up when you're done with it in the
What?
spring? You oil that up too when you're done with the beat or the bed or the web?
I was told to wash it
Oh.
by secondary roads. I thought to put oil on it too, but I was told not to do that, just to wash it. So that's what I do.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna try something different because that doesn't work. I just spent an hour trying to get the chain, the beater wouldn't go.
You would think oil would be the
Yeah, I
answer.
would think
Well,
so.
you would think.
Well, do a little research on there. There might be something you can spray on. I know. like
Graphite or something like
Graphite
that.
or something like
I
that.
was thinking maybe diesel fuel,
Yeah,
So-
that too.
But I don't know. They said oil, if you put oil on, then the sand sticks to it and then it never does come off. And then it grinds it, and wears it out faster.
I'd say some silicone or some graphite or something maybe, yeah.
Something. And I
Okay.
will do that.
So here's an interesting piece of history when you talk about sand. The old water wheels for the mills were made out of pine, softwood. And you would think you would use hardwood, but they said the softwood, the sand and grit in the water would impregnate into the wood and it would last longer than the hardwood. The hardwood would actually sand down.
Oh,
Just-
yeah.
I'm just like, okay.
Wow.
I mean, I read that in a book when I was researching water wheels, so I built that one. And it was interesting that they came up with that. I mean, I never would have thought of it. Just-
See, that's why I like coming in here. The things I
You should have had your box made out of pine.
There you go.
Yeah. Other than that, it's routine maintenance. The help that you got me, the helper, he is awesome. I'm getting compliments on him every day. Really helps out.
And he's okay with his hours
Yes.
fluctuating maybe? So
Yeah.
we're good enough with that, or?
He says he likes the hours he has right now.
I think it's worked out very
Yeah.
well.
Work good for you guys, yeah?
Yeah, I think so far so good. Thumbs up. Yeah.
Well, we're happy that we're happy that the septic field come along the way it did, and the dike and the pond and the building is looking good. I don't know if you ever got your other estimates for the concrete, but.
Well, I did, but I think we're gonna hold off
Oh, yeah,
until
we're gonna, yes, there's no
next spring.
sense in.
Did I tell you I trimmed the trees up? I told you that, didn't I? Trimmed them trees up there. Yeah, and, yeah. Talked to the fire chief of Andrew. He told me just go ahead and burn that pile. Let him know when I'm gonna burn it, and then if I need him, he will come. But it. Yeah, we're busy.
Yes, Mary.
She wants to speak on. He said, just burn it, let him know when I'm gonna burn it, but it's gonna be a big fire, because
That's a lot of stuff.
there's a lot of
There
stuff
it is,
there.
yeah, it's far enough away from it. We have to keep you, I think you wanna make sure your wind is going toward the west almost, or,
Yeah.
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 I don't think you
And
want it coming east or
And with the
south.
snow around it, that'll help too, okay?
Yeah,
So what
you don't
about this upcoming snow this afternoon? Would it work to start it this afternoon?
Well, it might not be a bad idea. You know,
check
there'll
it.
be plenty of time, I'm sure the snow ain't gonna go away for a while, but yeah. If you want me to, I will,
Just go out and have a wiener roast.
yeah,
Or make s'mores for the residents out there. you know.
yeah. But I don't know if I can get a long enough stick to stay away from that, maybe.
No, there's been other items put on that pile since then, so
Yeah,
it's
there-
gained a little.
There's some old steps that were around the building there, and then there was some kind of an old crate that I don't know where it come from, and we threw that out there.
It is
too.
kind of an eyesore, so if we could get rid of it, would be a plus.
I can do that, all right?
Okay, appreciate it.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yep, have a good new year.
Yep, you too.
Don't celebrate too much.
I stay home.
Yeah.
Them days of celebrating are long gone.
Okay. Lisa, you are finished, complete, correct?
That's correct.
All right, Luann, are you available?
Absolutely.
There we go. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, calendar for the week. This afternoon at 2 o'clock, I do have a Civil Service Commission meeting. Tomorrow, Wednesday, December 30th at 11:30 is a Mississippi Valley Workforce Special Meeting by Zoom for Jack. Thursday and Friday, the courthouse will be closed for the New Year's holiday. It would probably be closed anyway, considering the snow we're supposed to get, but that was the plan already, so. Our next regular meeting will be on Monday, January 4th at 9 a.m. That afternoon at 1 o'clock, Jack has a phone call regarding the Mississippi Valley Workforce Appeal. And Tuesday, January 5th at 10 a.m., we will not have a meeting that morning. Jack will have an entrance interview for Mississippi Valley Workforce by Zoom. And that evening at 6 p.m. is a conference board meeting for all of you. And they're holding it strictly by Zoom. So I have to phone into it or get into it by Zoom. The only other bit of business I have this morning is I am looking for a reappointment to the Jackson County Conservation Board. The only person on that board whose term is expiring this time at the end of the year is Larry. And he has agreed to be reappointed. So I'm looking for a motion to reappoint Larry to the Conservation Board for a new 5-year term.
So moved.
I would second. Any other questions? So you're okay with this appointment, Larry?
Mhm.
And 5 years. I guess we'll adjust that if so, something happens after the next.
It's
Yeah.
not required that you be
Okay.
a supervisor to be on that board.
Okay,
You
Good
don't
enough.
have to, but
You don't have to.
it's
We-
been policy that we.
To have a
already
supervisor
a
on the board.
supervisor on that board, so.
Correct.
so I have a motion and a second to,
And I guess I just want to say that I'm really glad we're now getting the minutes so that we really do know what's going on.
yeah, I mean, it's actually a very important board or what am I trying to say, office?
They do a lot of
Yeah.
things for the county and along with education. Education is a huge part of what they do.
Yeah,
I don't think people
it truly
realize it.
is. And I think now that we're getting the minutes, we know exactly what they're doing. And it's given me a much better attitude about the amount of money that we give them because
And what's coming
sizable.
back and what's going out and how it's run and to get the minutes and be able to go back and watch them. I enjoy watching the conservation. I mean, it's a big part of our community, with the
Yes, it
river and
is.
the streams and the camping. And let me tell you this also, by the way, they are really doing their job. So I went to Green Island with side by side, me and my puppy, yesterday. And so I got back close to the dike and I seen car tracks, man, going across the dike. I thought, well, Roger was always wanting me to look at that. So I drove back in there. By God, up on the highway, the lights were shining on me. And I come back out to Green Island and there he sat waiting for me. So Lord knows who was in there. So I said, good job. It's just me and my dog, but I said, job well done. So,
But I think just in kind of to play off that a little bit, that's why all of these boards and commissions and such that you're appointing people to, that's why it's so important that we get these minutes. And we are so lacking in some of these boards, and that's right, Team Jackson County, which we're really working towards that because it is important for you to know what the zoning board is doing. What are they discussing? And so this is something we're going to hammer it again to these people. We want the minutes. I haven't been very successful, but I haven't stopped asking though.
I guess most of the boards that we appoint people to get some form of funding from Jackson County.
Mhm.
And I think it's important for us to be aware of what they're doing with that money. And our citizens want to know what they're doing.
I agree.
And so I think it's imperative that we have the information we need.
like you said, all department heads need to
Yep,
work together. So
absolutely.
that's where we're at.
Yep.
And we're doing good with that. So I guess I have a motion and a second to appoint Larry to the Conservation Board for 5-year term. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carried. Congratulations, Larry.
Thank you.
I think that is it for my business. We need to be on the phone or on Zoom with Senator Carrie Felker at 10:30. She's gonna call in at that time. She's on the road, so I'm going to accommodate her, whatever she needs us to do in terms of getting her on the meeting. So other than that, we can move things around as you wish.
Okay, is that a work session or do we have to stay?
I think we have to stay
Okay,
because the news media is going to want to hear what
sure.
our priorities are.
So we
and talk
can
with
go through
Gary.
our budget work sessions in the meantime though, correct? Or what time is Ryan not on till 11 either?
I can call Ryan. We were a little iffy about, we just have to be done by 10:30, but we got plenty of time, so I can call Ryan and I'm sure he'll be able to get on right away if I call him.
Okay, is there anything, other boards or commission reports that are available or anybody want to discuss unfinished business or new business?
Well, I will say that last night we had the Mississippi Valley Workforce had a board meeting and I sat in on that as Cleo. And because of the COVID, they had quite a huge amount of carryover in all three of their funds. And we discussed last night our concern that we're not sure we can spend that all with all the offices are closed. No one's, if they get in online. And so they're not servicing as many people. They did have 245 youth that responded to some information, but they got the information out to them, and I think they said they only had like 25 that went on to the next step. And so we're a little concerned about that carryover and how we're going to be able to utilize those funds. And if we don't use them, they go back. But we also said maybe with the COVID-19 that we're all living under, maybe they might extend that, because this money was carried over because of that. And so we're hopeful that there'll be some alterations in the requests. So, but
Well, it is trying times, and it's been unknown times. So I guess the point of it is the numbers are certainly getting better for us. 0 cases the last 2 days for Jackson County.
yes,
So I guess the numbers are getting better. I guess they issued the money. It's not like we need to go spend it because we have it, but we hope that they can
and
extend.
I did talk to him last
services.
night. I did talk to him about Collins Aerospace in Bellevue laying off employees and that they really need it. And Miranda said that Equus was aware of that and was sending information and trying to get names of who was being laid off so that they could contact them about opportunities that might exist for them, either in some form of training or helping find other employment.
Yeah, that's a real positive. I guess I've heard from even the Economic Alliance that Collins wasn't real cooperative with providing a bunch of information. So maybe even have the workforce contact. They've got the names, all the names over here.
Well, Nick is on the workforce
Right.
board.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
he was not at our meeting last night. He's on the executive committee, but something must have come up. He wasn't able to be there, but I know that Miranda will be discussing it with him.
I have a personal family member would be interested in that.
But
So
you know,
yeah, it's disheartening when you lose a job that you like and
but you know, it's just, I guess, I just wish there was a better way of getting the information out as to what all is available. I mean, there's all kinds of money for educational training and all of this that people aren't taking advantage of. And I just wonder if people really knew that they could get some help financially to go to school or to get some additional training. So they're supposed to be getting that information out, Equus is, so hopefully they will.
So who would they contact for the schooling and stuff like that?
They would, the office in Davenport.
Okay. Iowa Workforce Development.
Yep.
Okay.
Because they're available by phone or Zoom, but they're not available.
They don't have a
Face to
open door.
face.
Okay.
And the budget work sessions, we do have 2 of them scheduled with department heads this morning, so once we're finished, I can get that started with Ryan Connolly or Kimberly Grandinetti. So those are the budget work sessions that I have scheduled this morning.
You said Carrie is driving and she's going to call in.
Yes, she's going to Zoom into the meeting. at
She is
10:30.
not driving herself. She's in the car.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think she's
But
right.
anyway, that's what Lisa told me that, or Luann told me is that she could do that because somebody else was driving.
well, I'm wondering if she's available now.
We could give her a call.
I can try. I don't know where she's at.
okay. Any other boards or commission reports, unfinished business? Thank you, Luann.
You're welcome.
Any other new business? We could take a short recess at this time.
All right.
We will reconvene at this time, and we are in a work session with Ryan Conley, our Jackson County EMS coordinator.
Yes, sir.
All right. I mean, somebody wants to be an administrator, somebody wants to be a coordinator, somebody wants to be a director, so, you know, I just make sure I get
I tell everybody I'm the gopher.
Chief cook and bottle
And
water.
we're here in the budget work session, so Ryan's gonna go over his budget with us, which is on page Emergency Medical Coordinator 20, Department 27, page 113 for expenses. Do we have any revenue that you would like to go through?
No, sir.
Oh, that's the story of our life.
And that's why he's.
We need to start making some food stands or something.
Make a mean roast
Can you
beef.
charge for taking blood pressure and stuff somewhere? or-
What Ryan sent me is in your binders, as well your
Yeah.
regular meeting binders.
In the regular meeting binder or?
In the regular meeting binders.
Yeah, I know, I saw it, because I looked at it last night.
This one.
Let's fold it up.
Yeah, it was in the binder.
Do you want me to do the budget first or the update first or
Whatever you want to do.
You can do the update.
Update first.
update first? Deal. Talk me into it.
Fire away.
Can I pull this down? Can you all hear me? But
Yeah, you're good with that.
I got my
You're far enough away.
vaccine Thursday.
Did you?
I did. I left there going, that wasn't even a flu shot. Like, I literally couldn't feel it. Christmas Day, so that was Friday, about 10 o'clock, it felt like a horse kicked me in the shoulder. And like out of nowhere, I was telling everybody, I was like, it wasn't even a flu shot. I didn't even feel it. 10 o'clock, Patrick's playing with all his toys that he got. I'm like, doggone. And then pretty soon I got the muscle ache. I was asleep by 7 p.m. Friday. But then Saturday I woke up. nothing.
Good. No
Nothing.
after effects. Good deal.
So we'll see how the second round goes. January like 21st.
So did you get the Pfizer one, the Medea or
The Moderna.
the
Yep.
Moderna?
Yep. That's what we have locally. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't think we got Pfizer.
Okay. Interesting.
So yeah, everybody get it. It's not so bad. Little muscle ache. Just don't let anybody punch you in the shoulder.
Well, that's common with a shot. Yeah.
So Tuesdays and Thursdays, we are knee deep in our EMT course. Those from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. via Zoom, other than skills and lab days. So when we have the participants learn how to take blood pressures and put people on boards and all that fun stuff. That is in person, but so long as I have enough volunteers, we're splitting that up between Bellevue's got 4 people. We have 4 people in Springbrook, and then I have, whatever that is, 9 people in Preston, so we can spread everybody out. And then we're doing study sessions on Sunday, just to go over anything that the participants want to brush up on, just to ensure, because we are in desperate need of EMTs.
Can I just interject
Yes,
there
sir.
just briefly? I want to thank all them for that right there. I mean, just what you said, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 10, that's a lot of commitment. And then a Sunday, again, a lot of commitment, volunteer, just their time.
And 10 o'clock is if we're lucky.
Yeah.
It's
I get
normally, and the Sundays were their decision. They requested it, and I'm like, I told you guys, whatever we need to get through this, however we get you to be certified EMTs, nights, weekends,
Well, that's dedication and commitment for an underpaying job.
no paying job.
That's what I meant.
So have you been able to do anything with the schools as to just showing up and doing a talk, or just to get people more?
We've got 2 students from Preston
Okay.
that are going through it, and they're seniors. So the only kicker is within 1 year after you complete the course. So it would be March of 22.
2.
So by March of 22, you would have to be 18.
Okay.
So because you have to be 18 to take the National Registry exam, and that's the only test that Iowa will recognize to certify you. And the big benefit is we worked with NICC, and this is an off-site course, right? It's not at Piasta. So typically you don't get credits for that. But it's an 8-credit course, college credits.
Okay.
So we worked with NICC, and those students, as soon as they complete the course, can go just drive up to NICC and actually pay for the credits. So as opposed to the, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head now, $800 or whatever for the course, they can go up and actually buy those 8 college credits. And both individuals are going to the University of Iowa, so that $300 or whatever are really cheap college credits for what is almost an entire semester.
They tell me anywhere from $75 to $200 a credit. Depends on what
So that'd
school
be
you're
great
at.
information, even if the students aren't planning on doing that, but if they're going to like a nursing or anything that,
Yeah,
what,
Health related.
yeah, health related would be excellent.
Well, and it's honestly a great study job. When you're in college, if you can get on an EMT rig
Mhm.
and do overnights, you don't run
prime
24/7.
time, yeah.
And
That's right.
they can go in there and
You
study
get
and,
paid for overnight though.
right.
Yep.
And it's 8 college credits. I mean, which isn't a kick in the pants.
No, it's not.
So, no, that's excellent, and we will be, especially after we get these two through, and they can say, no, look, we literally have the credits right here. I think we could pull a lot of seniors out of our local schools, and like you said, even if they're not local, maybe they go away to college for 4 years but come back.
Yep.
Um,
It's
more
not just
people.
our problem, it's a problem all over.
Yeah, exactly.
EMT. So if you can get them trained, at least you've gotten them
Mhm.
in the door, and they have to be interested in it or they wouldn't be taking it in the first place. But
I believe both of these individuals are planning on pre-med. So, I mean, it's for their undergrad, it's a beautiful work job.
absolutely. It's wonderful.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No,
Go ahead.
sir. The first 3 Thursdays, we're still at the hospital. They are dedicated to the hospital, specifically. Yes, sir.
Okay, you skipped a line there that I was, again, interested in and means something. So in addition to the participants that anybody in Jackson County, go ahead and elaborate on that if you would too.
So up until COVID, anytime EMS members want to get their formal education or continuing education, which is mandated, you can't recertify without your continuing education. For EMTs, that is 20 hours every 2 years. You had to be in person. I had to literally be in front of you speaking. But they've relaxed all of those guidelines now with COVID. So anybody in the county can log into our lectures on Tuesdays and Thursdays, not on skills nights, but when there's a lecture. They can log in from home, and they are getting 4 formal education hours sitting on their couch at home. And we had a little bit of a hiccup because NICC kept changing the Zooms. For some reason, when I would get on Zoom, it would kick off Piasta, and then when Piasta would get on, it would kick off me or this other course they had. They finally got that ironed out, so I believe we've had 6 people log in so far to get the hours. And we've blown that out to every service director of the hospital that any EMS member can log in from their home. And NICC is of the belief that that won't change moving forward, now that they've loosened the restrictions. So we may be able to implement
Well,
this.
that's a great opportunity.
Yep. Them hours ain't easy to come by. Again, when you're working out of town or if you're on a job site, and yeah, if you can sit at home without taking travel time and be a part of the session.
And you can log in with your phone
Yeah.
on Zoom and put in an earbud and drive down the road. Or maybe I shouldn't recommend that, but
Well,
you don't have to be
We
paying
certainly
attention to it.
want our participants to get the full effect of the classroom
You don't have to be
experience.
watching the screen. You can watch the roadway. while
There you
you're
go.
driving.
Yeah, it's just like listening to the radio. So, yep, everybody can log in, and I believe that will continue moving forward. Just like tonight, it's supposed to be horrible weather. What else are you gonna do? So everybody can log in. There's no limit to how many can log in. First 3 Thursdays are dedicated to the hospitals, specifically for the American Heart Association certification courses, like CPR, Advanced Cardiac Life Support, Pediatric Advanced Life Support. And once COVID restrictions are removed or lessened, we're going to start pre-hospital trauma life support. That is, you have to be there in person, and it's an 8-hour course, 2 days in a row. So we can't limit the number of participants. We have moved our CPR, Advanced Cardiac Life Support, and Pediatric Advanced Life Support down to their large conference room. So we have a good 10-foot between everyone. So we're not spreading the COVID around. Nobody wants to get sick, especially this close to the vaccine. In January, we've got to start. I've got 3 services that the entire department has to do their CPR. which normally isn't a big deal. 2.5 hours, we go in there and we're done, but now we have 30 people. And we can't do 30 people at one time in one room. So that is a scheduling challenge. We're having to break it up into multiple days so we can keep it down to 6 people, plus me. So we're working on that, and we are doing, it's time for skills verification, which is a mandate by the state for each and every ambulance service. So our medical director, Dr. Beide, specifies vital signs, the EpiPen, the King Airway. There's specific skills that the participants have to, it's not an education, you literally just show up and prove to me and thereby Dr. Beide that you can do the skills. So it's one time a year, and January is the time of year. Good news, I obtained a hospital-based pharmacy agreement for Springbrook, their paramedic service. What they had been doing, the drugs were owned by Dr. Beide, and then we were ordering them through Boundtree and EMP, which is fine, but then once you use the drugs, there's that lag time, right? Because you have to order them, they send them to you.
Sure.
We got an agreement with a hospital-based pharmacy that not only allows for immediate replenishment, I can just drive there. I apologize. I can just drive there and pick up the drugs and drop them off to Joe or Springbrook or wherever. But it also allows us to obtain narcotics for pain control, which is honestly outside of the code situation, what we need the most of. If you get down on the bottoms and break a bone, it's traditionally been a 20-minute trip before you're able to get pain control or relief. Now, beings that were associated with the hospital, they can start to carry narcotics and deliver those narcotics for pain control on scene as a first responder. So I was told to make this quick. That was my update. If you guys are good with
Good.
that.
You're doing
Yeah.
fine.
Let's not get them addicted to them narcotics, so let's.
No, sir. Well, there's a money maker. You want me to get revenue?
Yeah.
I can go down to Davenport and get us some revenue.
Here now, let's do that off camera here.
We'll scratch that.
I'm too little to go to prison. So my budget isn't extremely
Fun,
large.
exciting.
Yeah.
So you have a different format than what we have, is that correct, what we're talking about here?
I'm looking at column L was the only thing I was supposed to change, and then column M was what it was this year.
Okay, I don't have an L and an N, I don't believe.
Right after.
This one?
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Yeah, it just doesn't show the lettering.
Oh, sorry. So right after it says Emergency Medical Services Coordinator, there's a column, and then,
Highlighted in blue,
yes, sir. That's the new one, and the one.
that's 2021, 22, correct?
Yep, the blue one is 22, and then the next column is what we're currently in. And
Okay, so it's 21, 22. We start in July of 21 till
Yes,
22,
sir.
okay. 2021, okay.
18, 19, and 20 coming back.
See, our budget book shows things a little different here. So this is actually in our budget book, this is not a correct number for 21, 22. Right, the 47,661?
Yeah, so I'm not really sure. Shelley questioned that also. We know that we have a couple of adjustments that need to be made in budgets, and so that's the salary line item. And that it's figured differently for some people because of how many working days there are in a year and how that falls in the fiscal year. Like this year, we're lucky that we've got 13 payrolls in this first half of the fiscal year. We'll have 13 in the next, and how many days worked and such. So that's not a hard number. That possibly could be changed.
Okay, so what it shows me is there's no increase in compensation though.
Well, but you can see that in Ryan's budget, it shows at 48,028.
Same as 2021.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. we know that there'll be some changes. We'll have to take a look as far as how Becky had it budgeted for this year and how many working days, and then we'll make the adjustment.
Because again, we were figuring 10% for insurance contribution too, and there's no difference here.
Right. So those will be some of the things that we will be looking at and making some adjustments to.
Have we heard anything from the insurance yet?
Not, because I just asked. No, we haven't. I was a little anxious myself, but
Actually, we were fairly, last year, we
we took a slight increase last year because we changed. the
we changed the deductible and
Yeah. So we'll have to take a look at it again this year.
okay, well, I don't see anything out of line there. I mean, there's nothing
I don't
really
have any
to
questions at all.
discuss, yeah.
I tried to drop everything and then I've been told previously to leave placeholders like office supplies. Although
Well, I
I
mean,
don't think I've
yeah.
ever used office supplies because I'm always at the
Yeah.
stations. But I dropped everything else.
Of course, our mileage has been cut this year by everyone, but that's, that could change too, so. We certainly want,
Yeah.
To be on the
really do
long
need to
end.
Be careful because you can't look at what happened this year and
No.
expect it's gonna continue. It's going to
Yeah.
go back to where it was. You know, at some point in time.
well, we hope so.
Have you had or any further discussions with Clinton County?
I called multiple times.
Actually, I called, when I talked to Dan, I thought about that, Jack, and I was just going to wait till after the first year and see who the new chair was. And then maybe touch base again, on our part. I talked to Dan a couple different times. I left him a message. He was gonna check with some of his fire chiefs, but he never got back to me, so I'm just gonna wait to see who the new chair is and maybe
That's
we
a
can
shock.
proceed. Yeah, well, I still have it on my little notepad that I carry around in my pocket, but
I do have cause to talk to Mr. Kane from,
Elvira maybe, or,
yeah, because Preston is talking with Goose Lake about potentially putting their third ambulance in Goose Lake. It just makes more sense. They have a whole bunch of responders, but they don't currently have any form of EMS certification. So I am going to talk to him in hopefully the next week or two. And he had reached out to me about the Clinton County deal. This has been months ago, and left me a voicemail. I literally called him back as soon as my meeting was over, and I left multiple voicemails, and then I contacted you to see if I should keep harassing him.
no, we talked about that, and I don't know that we keep doing that. We'll get an answer. I'll get an answer from whoever is in charge next round, and we'll see how they want to proceed. We certainly don't want to leave them out by any means, but if we have the opportunity to give them a hand, we certainly will do that. They've been good to us, good neighbors.
Because isn't the EMS one of the legislative priorities? for
Well,
ISAC?
I had that on my notes to talk to Carrie about, so yeah, I don't know it was last year and it got dropped. So, there was a couple of different things that were on the table. I think one was an advisory board again for each county, and then one was essential service. So, I don't know where they're at with that.
I know they need it because when we set up this EMT course, I literally had another 10 people from Clinton County that wanted in it.
Yeah.
But at 16,
Sure.
I can't.
Well, you
take
can't,
more.
you can't stretch out that then then it's not feasible anymore.
If it were just lecturing, it wouldn't matter, but when it comes to skills day, the college has requirements for an evaluator per the number of students. And I have no way to ensure that we're gonna have volunteers at the home stations to take on 24, 26.
Well, and like I said, after we talk to them, if they're interested, then we figure out your schedule and see where we can move with it, And we'll come up with something if they're agreeable to it.
Oh, yeah.
If they're not,
There's a way to skin that cat.
I think it's amazing that we're ahead of the state.
yeah, well, yeah.
By a good margin. I mean, even this Region 5A thing, when it started 5-6 years ago, it was literally just give us your stuff, we'll give you money. And I was calling, at the time, it was Michelle Fisher Short was our state EMS or regional EMS coordinator that comes in. And I was calling her and I'm like, so I'm just being told to hand in a budget and there's no teeth behind it, meaning we don't have to jump through any hoops. And that doesn't seem right. She goes, oh no, there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through. And Region 5A has been behind what the state is looking to do from the beginning. And we're vastly ahead of where the region is.
And we want to stay that way.
Oh, absolutely.
We want to be on the cutting edge.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, folks.
Yep, thank you.
Yep, thanks. Have a good day. Have a good new year.
Have a wonderful new year and stay safe and healthy.
Stay home tonight.
Be a Zoom meeting,
Get the shovel out in the morning.
although I do not do the Zooms from home because with a 7-year-old, it's daddy, daddy, daddy.
Quarantine them.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good new year.
Hurry on her way. The next budget session.
Does any of the board coming in with her?
Probably not.
Guess not.
It is a
Good morning.
Good morning. And joining us is Kimberly, our Jackson County Board of Health Director, Administrator. What do you, what's your title?
I think it's Administrator of Public Health. I know,
Jackson
like,
County, yeah, Administrator. Health Department. And welcome.
thank you.
Revenue worksheet is on page 55.
Revenue? Is there anything to look at?
Revenue, I think. is
What department number is it? May I ask?
53. Right, okay.
County
This?
sanitarium. That's what it's listed in our budget book.
And what page is expenses?
55 is revenue, 141 is expenses. Our sheet, yeah.
Give us the good news on revenue.
Give us the good news on revenue.
Well, let's see. I think most of it's staying the same. We did have a decrease that we're requesting from the general fund compared to like previous years. So we're not requesting as much. So
You
and
have
then-
different spreadsheets there than what we have, correct?
Yes, I believe I printed off whatever I had worked on, submitted to Shelley, so my stuff looks a little different.
Okay, so
So I know like for revenue, like last year, I think we requested 80,500 from the general fund to help cover expenses. And this budget year, we're only requesting 74,269. So I guess that would be, everything else is
Total
pretty much the
revenues, though,
same.
you indicate it's 181, 178, right?
You're on 155.
Yeah, my numbers are different because they also include the DFC.
But that 125 DFC is part of the 181.
Oh, is it?
No, I'm sorry. The 255, 447 includes the 125.
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
that's what I have.
Yes.
I was like, well, I don't have that
Yes.
number. So yeah, that does include the DFC, the 255, 447.
Okay.
Do you have any questions on the revenue side of things?
I don't,
Expenses, we tried to always stay within budget and things like that. Let's see, I kind of did you guys get the notes?
nope.
Just in case.
Yeah.
You want to pass those? These are the notes that I sent out with it that kind of, I guess, just highlight what stayed the same, what increased, what decreased. For the most part, everything stayed the same or decreased. The one area that I put in for was administrative support. And with moving things around and the different things that we've done from the past budget, by doing it 20 hours a week at $15 an hour, part-time administrative support, it basically only increased the budget by $5,400 total. Not that line item, but just total.
Okay. I guess,
If that makes sense.
well, yeah, I see what's there, but I said we still have some issues or some different irons in the fire that we're still working out. So I guess until we see how this plays out for us in the coming couple months or month or whatever it may be.
Okay. So it's kind of hard to say on that right now.
I guess I question
Right
it.
now,
Yeah.
it's
I guess
impossible to say.
we don't know. I mean, just because administrative assistance because you're in the field.
It would be with a lot of things. I mean, not only like while I'm in the field to get calls, but also to help with some of the reports and the different things that we're supposed to do. Things that honestly, there's a few areas that hadn't been done, and we have to catch up on those as well. So there's definitely some things like that.
Because I guess, like I said, we don't know. We don't know what the job entails.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Otherwise, I think almost everything is pretty much the same as it's been. I didn't put anything in for the mapping system, you know, how we had talked about trying to find, we have to,
Intern.
well, not necessarily the intern, but for the mapping for the GPS unit that we bought for mapping septic systems, there was still some design that had to be done that Heather was working on. And then there's the post-processing part of it that was, once I was out in the field and it came back that GIS was going to help with. I have not put anything in for that yet because I haven't figured out exactly who can do what and things like
Okay,
that.
so we're looking at Snyder to do some of that for the next 3 months, I believe.
Okay. And I don't know if that would be, so I've never talked to them on that. I
Okay,
know.
but if you could just get that down so we have that information to give to them and see where we can go
I'm
with it.
confused. I'm sorry. So we're talking about the gizmo.
Yes.
Okay. And we're talking about, we don't have a complete,
It wasn't completely set up. We went out and we did the mapping for like Leisure Lake and things like that, but for actual doing like an actual map of a septic system, it wasn't ever completed all the way. That was in order to get set up so that that could get done. So like for me to go out and pick whatever needs to be picked out in the field, I can't do all that because it didn't get all the way done. And then.
But you're talking about putting it on the computer or on the file or so we can
GIS
save it
layer.
in the cloud or something. You're not physically going out and doing work out there yet. We have that completed, correct?
We do not have all that completed for that part of it, for getting it. Not all the data points were put in for me to do physical. Like,
Wouldn't Iris
septic.
have those data points as to where this,
here's
The
what I'm
system.
I'm sorry. Here's what I'm gonna suggest. You need to come back at 11 o'clock when our Schneider people get on the Zoom meeting concerning.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm gonna suggest. I'm sorry, I know nothing about this.
Well, I
Well,
know
see-
a lot of that was GIS.
Yeah, we're
too.
trying to get some support here through
Yeah.
Schneider for GIS because we, like I said, we didn't know what really GIS all did either.
Right.
And then we're finding out slowly and surely. But again, we have other things in the process
Mhm.
that are going on that may be an assistance to us. But we're talking with Schneider to, and they're talking education, they're talking da-da-da, so.
So I guess the question is it something that you want to be taught how to do? We need our GIS person to do?
I'm
Or
thinking like the initial part would definitely be a GIS person that's setting it up. And then I'm assuming the post-processing, I mean, I would do part of it, but a lot of it was done by GIS. It's supposed to be done by a GIS person.
Okay.
again, here,
And
we're.
that helps with our
Yeah.
job description we're trying to figure out.
Well, and I know it's like me trying to describe it as well is a little hard because it's like I'm just an end user of it. I guess that's what,
Yeah,
Mhm.
so.
But I'm going back to Iris, when they put the systems in up at Leisure Lake, wouldn't they have a map of where all of those?
They do have a map, but we went out and we put, so that was what the intern, when we had
Right.
Thomas, that's what he went out and he mapped all the ones that were existing. Obviously, we have 25 new ones going in, so those have to be added as well.
But they would have that information always.
And we
also.
should be able to do, like, I should be able to add those parts. It's the initial setup, like, so not just Leisure Lake where we were doing the grinder stations, that part of it's
Sure.
pretty much done, other than making it more accessible in public.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like when I go out and do my actual septic inspections and we map that system, that's the part that we didn't get to.
As far as the drain fields and such and such and
Yes,
such, yeah,
tank and all that.
that's a
well.
lot of information that needs to be input.
Yeah, it
But,
was started, but it never, it was like we worked on Leisure Lake and he worked on Dresslers and then,
So I would make a couple notes of that. I would appreciate if you have time to come back while we're talking to Snyder here, that that's something we throw at him and say, is this possible or whatever.
yeah.
And are they doing it somewhere else? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we might be able, Lynn County might be able to help us with the initial setup since they were helping us originally.
okay.
But then that post-processing part, that might be something that Schneider would be able to help us
we're learning that we get a lot of help from people. All we have to do is ask.
with.
And so.
It's learning what to ask for.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think that's one thing. The other thing that I would say is, are you still on target, I guess is a good way to put it, to have all of the files that are downstairs, are you gonna digitize them? Are you gonna
I
scan
am
them?
getting those done this winter. I had to wait until things kind of slowed down before I can start going through. It's gonna take a little longer than I thought to get those done, but we should get them done.
We had that budgeted last year though.
Yeah, it's
correct?
budgeted and
Yeah.
it's ready. It's just a matter of physically going through the files and trying to make. sure
Again,
it's
if we
there.
have support here, what can they all do, you know?
Yeah,
Well, that's why we spent a little time in the file room yesterday afternoon, and there's a little bit of work to be done.
Little sorting to be doing?
Just a little bit, huh?
A little bit of work to be
You know,
done.
I have all the files in my office that like I pull,
Yeah.
and then I haven't actually got them done yet either, so there's sometimes time for that.
No,
but-
we certainly want to get in compliance here and catch up and get things.
We might have to make that room a little more user-friendly.
Yeah, and my goal is once that gets digitized, my stuff will be, I mean, a lot more accessible to us. Because it's, I mean, I just have to go down, like people call now, they're like, can you go get, can you look up this information? I'm like, yeah, I'll have to call you back because I have to go down and find it.
Did Sarah talk to you about,
She just sent me a
Okay,
list. She
okay.
just-
That
I-
should
I
really be
sent
at
her-
your fingertips. Yeah, it really should be.
Yeah, and well, and just, I mean, if I was gone for anything, things like that, it's like, oop, yeah, I can log on, send it to you,
Yeah.
versus having to go down to the basement and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to getting that done. It's just physically getting the files ready for
did you
them.
use the same company that the assessors on?
Yes.
And how much, if I can,
I can't remember right
Okay.
offhand, it was.
well, because I'm thinking we might want to consider zoning to do the same thing.
Now, Carissa was scanning all kinds of stuff for Ben. I don't know how far they got,
Okay,
but I do know that she had gotten a lot of his stuff scanned, but I don't know if it was searchable or
Okay.
where it was put.
See where we can see if we can find it.
yeah,
Yeah, because I do know she was working on that.
okay, all right, something we'll have to look at.
Yeah, just let me know and then, yeah, if there's
So would that
anything
be
I
in
can
the
do.
cloud or is it on a disk somewhere in the drawer?
Hard to tell.
I would
Well, we didn't send it.
guess the server.
I'm
That would be
guessing-
my
I would
guess.
guess
would
it
be
should
my
be on the
guess.
server, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if
That would be
Carissa
my
did it, I'm
guess.
guessing it's on our server. We just have to find it.
Find it. So it'd be under.
And I don't know how much she got done, but I do know she worked on that quite a bit for Ben. And
Well,
know
I
they
think
were
if when we
making a lot
move
of
forward
headway.
to our next coordinator, I think that's what we were trying to do, is to try and see where we needed to start at and assist our next zoning
Administrator.
administrator.
Well, I know, I got, that kind of happened to me on some of the DNR stuff. I didn't have access. I just got access to this DNR database that we're supposed to put septic information in. And I just got it about a month ago. And so I still have all my almost, 2 years to put in. And then going back through, it looks like a lot of that, there was like very minimal data that got entered as what was supposed to be. So we're gonna have to go through those too. So.
I can,
I'm sure Dave never downput.
I don't know that it was even around when,
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been, I don't think the database, I don't have any idea when it was done. I'm guessing with maybe in 2009-ish would have been with the new code, would have been my guess. But yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff to go back through. But I know, and I've started making, just so you guys know, like regarding both my position and like, I guess I've just been doing it as a total for my programs, like what goes on in each thing, like what, like for the septic program, what are some of the things that I go through and do, and we can kind of look at those and say, well, these would be really great for administrative support and things like that. So I have started doing that, and I can send that to you.
Yeah, I
guys.
guess
It's
because we
not-
don't know.
Yeah, it'd be nice to know what I do.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean,
We're
that's the whole
realizing that.
point. We didn't know what zoning was kind of all that entailed either, and how far behind we were or what was happening.
Yeah.
You don't micromanage every office or every department. I mean, you're the head of the department, so
Mhm.
that's.
Well, I can definitely get you, like I said, I've started doing that, and I keep adding to it as I like, oh, yeah, I guess I should add that to the list too. It's one of those things that you don't really, some things you just do and then you don't really think about, like, okay, what if I wasn't here? We
I
need to
think,
have something in place.
I think because today we've talked a lot about Team Jackson County. And we're
Mhm.
talking about how we need to all work together. And I think that is one thing that I can tell you that we've identified that we haven't been working together. And so it is my desire, and in visiting with Buck in the assessor's office and whoever our next zoning administrator is, and we'd like to, tie into you so that when someone makes a phone call, someone comes here, we can offer them a one-stop shop
Yeah.
to get a zoning permit, a 911 permit, a septic tank, a
Well, then
building
we have
permit.
backup between offices
Right.
that can assist each other to a
Yeah, I
point.
mean, there's things that I can do or things that zoning can do, but there is some common ground there that if somebody's gone, that we can say, oh, here's the process.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I know
We want
like,
it to be consumer friendly,
Yes,
and right now it's not.
it's not,
it's not at all.
no.
They get very frustrated and they let
I
us
know
know.
there's one other thing that I talked about, and that's like propane tanks, which most people use, to have them located on GIS, so when the firemen and stuff go into a place for fire, they know where it's at.
Mhm.
It's something they can bring up on their screen as they're going to the site. I don't know if that ever got done.
I'm sure it didn't.
Yeah,
I mean, that would be a good asset, yeah.
another.
The whole gizmo thing, at one point, we've talked about locating all of the bridges in Jackson County and getting a picture of it and downloading the DOT things to,
Mhm.
I mean, there's, the possibilities are endless, but you have to have someone that's dedicated to get this,
Having the
one
time
job
and the
done.
knowledge to do
Yeah.
it.
And carry through.
Exactly. I mean, I guess we don't want something started and get a quarter of the way done and then it
Right.
gets dropped.
Well, and I know that's like, when I went back to go into Leisure Lake, I was like trying, like, going, okay, where is this? I like couldn't figure out how to log on and do, it's things that, I mean, I guess my own fault, it's like, I would sit there and I'd just be like, hey, Heather, how do I do this?
Mm.
And stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
We need to be
something-
cross-trained a little bit, yeah. No
Yeah.
doubt.
So,
I mean, minimal
Yeah.
I think that's what we learned, like.
procedures.
Becky and I have been talking with the zoning and stuff too. It's like, hey, it'd be nice if this was added to the application or, at least make sure that both of us are,
Job description.
well, I meant just in general, like, if somebody's applying for something that they put down is their bathrooms in there. Because, if there's no septic system, but they're putting a bathroom in, then that would raise a flag for me to reach out, make some contact.
On
and
the
say-
permit, you mean, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, and like on new properties, Ben and I were real good. I mean, he'd always come to me and say, hey, before I issue this permit, but there's obviously some other areas that we didn't necessarily know about. So,
It's like this recent, there's been I guess, just an inquiry. Someone had an accessory structure and we were probably thinking it was probably gonna be a garage with a basketball hoop attached to it. I don't know. But it sounds like it may not be that way. And that was funny because I thought of the first thing, does it have a septic system
Yeah.
and is it big? Yeah.
are we gonna cover it accidentally? Things like that. We've seen that where they build decks and stuff over their septic system. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Well, yeah, that and not only assess value for revenue,
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. If you have one.
I mean,
So.
how far behind are we?
So I guess if you guys have any questions for me on the expenses or any concerns, or if there's more you want me to dig into, I'll dig into the mapping part or come at 11 and try to
Yeah, they're
have some better
Yep,
phrasing.
we're gonna meet with them and discuss what they can offer us.
And more than likely, I may have to have a phone call with them to say,
Sure.
this is what we were.
Yeah.
This is what we had started, and so they can
So
see
will
it.
you be available at 11?
Yep.
Okay,
I can come back.
I don't have any questions. Anybody else got any questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good day and a good new year and a safe, happy new
I'll be
year.
back at 11.
We'll see you in
Okay.
a half hour.
We will take a short recess at this time. And we are joined with Carrie Kelker, our state senator.
Senator
Sorry, you were standing on your head there a minute ago, so we got you now. It doesn't look like you're in your car.
Well,
And
I
good
was in
morning.
my car. No, I'm not in my car because we were having a blizzard in Nebraska. So I'm in my brother-in-law's office.
Awesome. Where you at?
Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, so you're in the middle of it. You can
We
tell
are.
us what we're up. You can tell us what we're up against?
Yeah, I think it's coming your way. We were supposed to head home today. I think we're going to head home tomorrow now. So we'll see.
It is coming our way, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty thick here. So it's a pretty white stuff, and I'll send it your way, and you hurry up and get rid of it so I can.
Send it north.
Well, again, we'd like to welcome you here. We're glad that you were able to give us a few minutes of your time. And if you want to first enlighten us on what's happening, and then we can move forward with maybe questions we may have.
Absolutely. Well, almost Happy New Year. I hope you all survived the Christmas season. So thank you for having me join you this morning. We obviously have our committee assignments. Our chair assignments came out first. Our committee assignments were just rolled out in the past few weeks. So we're all kind of getting busy with that. But rest assured, we're all ready to get back to work. Session starts January 11th. I will be heading down to Des Moines January 10th to get settled because we start at 7:30 a.m. on Monday morning with activities on the 11th. We also have a caucus coming up. So next Monday, I'll be traveling to Des Moines and we're going to have an all-day Republican Senate caucus. And so at that point in time, I'm sure we'll be finding out lots of new stuff or kind of really diving in on some of our focus areas that we want to do. So this is a good time for me to talk to you. I will tell you my committee assignments. It's probably a good lead off for me. So you can kind of understand where I'm going to be kind of gelled and jammed this year, this upcoming session. So I am serving as one of the Republican Assistant Majority Leaders in the Iowa Senate. So I'm excited to take on that role and that endeavor. There are 4 of us that serve in that position and our caucus elects us. So it'll be good to work with our caucus and help lead. We have a wonderful Senate Majority Leader, Senator Whitmer. We have a new president, Senator Jake Chapman. So that'll be interesting to see how all those things, the dynamics, how things change when you have different leadership and different committee assignments. So I am also going to continue my role as Vice Chair of Commerce. I've been assigned the Ethics Committee Chair. I'll also serve on the Transportation Committee, and I'm going to Vice Chair the Economic Development Budget Subcommittee. So those are my upcoming committee assignments. I think I'm missing one. I hope it's an easy one. Let me think about that for a minute.
If you missed it, it probably ain't that important. Huh?
It must not be important. Too bad I didn't miss the ethics chair assignment. That's the one that I feel like I really took one for the team. They called me with that and I said, that's called taking a good one for the team. Sure, I'll do it. So anyway, so we reconvene next week and on Monday morning, and we'll kind of all go down there with our priorities and our new seat assignments. And we get all new computers, which maybe that was my glitch or problem this morning, but we are getting all new computer and technology. They're like 30 years old. They weigh as much as probably 8 pounds of sand. So we're looking forward to having a lighter load, hopefully.
With that being said, Carrie, you're going down there with your priorities. Maybe can you tell us what your priorities are?
Actually, yeah. So my priorities, really, to be honest, haven't continued a lot. I will tell you, rural Iowa is obviously my biggest priority because that's obviously my district. It's my heart. It's where I work in my career, my daily life, as well as to promote Iowa as a great place to live, work, and travel. And so quality of life in rural Iowa, to be honest, impacts, I believe, all of those priorities. So that'll be kind of my focus. I'll tell you my worry was, and I've talked to this about my caucuses, is that we want to go down there and I don't want everything to be COVID-19. I have a feeling that that was what we would be going down, and that's all we'd be working on this session. But I think Iowa's in an economic crisis. I think we do have a pandemic on our hands, but that's not where we just need to go down and focus and come back home. That's not what my constituents elected me to do. So I think we're going to go down and we're going to work on what we feel is the top priorities for Iowa and our caucus together, and kind of get rid of some of the small stuff that we would normally do. I don't foresee, this is just my crystal ball, I don't foresee us working on a lot of little bills just to have committee meetings and meetings. I look at us going down there and figuring out what our priorities are for Iowa and how we're going to accomplish those and get those done besides just dealing with the pandemic.
Well, obviously, and I guess Jack might want to chime in on this, but one of our priorities for the last 3 or 4 years was the mental health funding, of course. So
It's been for the last 12 years.
12
At
years,
least.
because I wasn't here that long, so I don't know. But again, it is a priority to us, you know, along with the REAP fund, of course. I know last year, and this is kind of a concern of mine, along with rural Iowa, is our EMS was on the agenda last year. The advisory board is what they may do with that, or how they might formulate that. And also that to consider it to be an essential service. As you well know, rural Iowa runs on volunteer services. You know, they're very proud people.
Dedicated,
I think
yeah.
the program that we have in Jackson County with our EMS coordinator, he was just in this morning and talked about all of the things that he's doing, recertifying and training and all of this. You know, I think that we're really in the forefront with the EMS and what we're doing and what we're providing for the EMTs and the fire departments and emergency vehicle coordinators. It just, I just think what he does and what he provides is invaluable to Jackson County and rural America.
But these small town services, they expect something from us also in return. You know, they're dedicated. And
the good thing is we're providing that service at either no or very little cost.
Right. So that's, you know, I know that was on the agenda last year, never got around to it either. I know that they talked about the advisory board, and it's like that scenario to us is, we have a great coordinator here that informs us, but we don't know what all these rural services and what every department that's a little different than each other. Some may be, you know, further ahead in their equipment and personnel and whatnot, but we don't know what they really need. So, I mean, we think that an advisory board, you know, to tell us or advise them what they need and then come to us. I guess I don't know for sure, but that's.
But I know that's one of ISAC's legislative priorities as well, is the EMS, and we'd like you to give that some very serious consideration. Going back to the mental health, I just wish that the state could team with the regions. We've changed everything. We've done everything that we needed to do to create the regions, and financially, all of the services they're asking us to provide, and the children's services, which some of them at this point we're not providing, and we're supposed to be providing them, but we just don't have the funds to do it. And I think that the state's kind of just backing off in the funding. And they're mandating us to do it, but they're not giving us any money to help make it available. And it's hard for those individuals that are providers of services to come up with these programs if they don't realize, or if they're not aware, or if they're not sure that they're going to be sustainable. Because once they get the, I mean, those staff people are, you don't buy it, you don't hire them for little or nothing. You have to pay them what their value is. And so a lot of the providers aren't even considering it because they don't know if it's going to be something they'll be able to carry through with. And so I think the legislators need to look seriously at what they mandate for services without funding to go along with it.
What, may I ask, Jack, what is the funding stream currently?
Well, we get some from federal, we get some from
Right.
state, and then from the counties.
Mm-hmm. And do you know the percentage of that off your top of your head?
Honestly, Carrie, I don't, but I can
Oh, that's
find.
okay. That's okay. I'm just taking notes here and I want to make sure I'm armed with, because mental health obviously has been a situation. I mean, in the 2+ years I've been in the Iowa Senate.
Well,
but-
I've been on the board since, well, in January, I'll start my 31st year. And so I've been working on mental health for over 30 years. Started with the Gannon Center. Then I spent 9 years on the Iowa Mental Health Disability Service Commission and
Yep.
was chairman of that when we went from county services to regional services. And they kept saying that the system was broke. I don't believe that's true.
Yeah, I remember.
The funding stream was what was broke. For years, we tried to get the legislators to increase or at least give us the opportunity to generate, even if it's county revenue, additional revenue into the system. And it was $19 and some cents was all I mean, for years and years and years, we tried to get them to up that.
Yeah.
So we went to the regions, I mean, they're working okay, but when you take 5 counties versus 1 county, and my biggest bitch, honestly, has been the removal of county case managers because they knew the clients, they knew what their services,
Right.
and they had a workable caseload.
Yeah.
Now with the MCOs, and that's another thing that I'm not happy with is the MCOs. But their caseloads are 3 times what we were told we could have as caseloads for the counties. And I'm not sure that the service is better. I'm sure it's not better.
Well, and it's my understanding mental health is on the rise anyway during this pandemic. I mean, it was already on the
Of
rise,
course
but
it
during
is.
the pandemic, it's so hopefully we can take a hard look at that through the health. I'll talk to the Health and Human Services chair, obviously one-on-one when we get down there next week.
Also, just on a personal note, the governor did appoint me to the Human Service Council. I
Good.
started in July, and supposedly the Senate is supposed to confirm my appointment after you get back into session. So I would appreciate your support.
You got it.
I've been attending those meetings by Zoom since July.
Yes. Okay.
I guess one of the things that is always kind of, every time they kind of keep singing the praises of the MCOs. I, on the other hand, hear all of the negative things when I'm at my regional meetings and other meetings from the providers about not honoring the contracts, not reimbursing them at the rate that they're supposed to be receiving. Also the delay in funding. I understand from what they say at our council meetings that that's improving, but I'd have to have some assurance of that because right now I'm not sure that that's true.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I've been hearing a lot, especially the past few years, obviously, about how that situation is working or not working. So at some point in time, we're going to have to.
It's been ongoing, so.
What is your thoughts about the Department of Human Services and the Department of Health merging?
Well, I'm going to be honest, that is obviously number one is not my wheelhouse. So I'm going to rely on those that is, and I'm not on those committees. And that's something I'm kind of, but I do know mental health is on a lot of our priorities. So I think a lot of us need to maybe delve in and take a harder look about that. I'd have to see things on paper, to be honest, Jack, or talk to those type of people before I'd even comment about my thought on that merger.
I could certainly have our CEO for the Eastern Iowa region send you information about funding and expenses and stuff. Lori would be happy to do that.
Well, and I think, to be honest, what we could do is maybe get the Health and Human Services chair in the Iowa Senate. Maybe if we each got a core group of people and sat down and met with them, and I can sit in on that meeting or help coordinate that meeting, I'm happy to try to get that allotted.
Great. That'd be great.
Jeff Edler is a great guy. I mean, I'm glad he's he's helping chair that committee this year, and he'll be good at that. That's kind of a hot ball that nobody, with Mary-Nett Miller-Meeks, and Annette Sweeney is no longer going to be chairing that committee. So I think it's going to be put into some good, diligent hands, if that reassures you a little bit.
That's
But
great.
it also equals funding.
Absolutely.
And which we all know is probably the bottom line, the base of this crack in this foundation.
But I guess the thing, Carrie, I don't want the legislators to do is pass that funding on to the counties.
Yeah, I hear you.
We've talked about that plenty of times, but no.
Yeah, it's kind of like a deja vu from last year.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this is one other thing that we have talked about in previous years, also never really come to fruition either, was the medication and the medical expenses for our prisoners and our inmates. I know we all have a toothache once in a while, but if you have a toothache and you come in and get 3 squares a day and you're nice and warm for a couple of days, your dental work is complete and we can go back home.
Yeah.
And their medical needs,
Yeah.
prescriptions and doctor's appointments.
So I don't know where we go with that, but that's it's an issue, I think,
The word is called reimbursements.
Yeah.
And we know that never happens.
But it's there's individuals that have gotten really good at playing the system,
Mhm.
And if they get their hand slapped for whatever reason, they spend 2 days in jail. That's okay with them.
And then they'll go to the next county and do that too, correct?
Yeah, or they might be back next week.
Well, and since we're on the our region borders the Mississippi River, a lot of our meetings when we're discussing not mental health, we're talking about just things in general. And they're saying so many people are coming across the Mississippi because benefits in Iowa are easier than they are in Illinois. And they'll come here for a certain amount of time and get their residency. Then next thing you know, they're getting benefits from Iowa, but then they head back over to an apartment they have in Illinois and still get benefits from Iowa.
Actually, I've heard they have 3 addresses, one in Illinois, Iowa, and Wisconsin. So they make a vicious circle collecting.
That's a real concern to a lot of
That
the
is a concern.
Mississippi River counties as well.
Mhm.
In fact,
Well,
they said in
then-
Clinton County that the Illinois state trooper or the police from
Yeah.
the river actually drive them across the bridge and drop them off at the end of the bridge and say, good luck, have a good time.
Well, they went through that with the driver's licenses for truckers. I mean, some of these truckers had a license in about 25 states. And they just pick out which ones they have the least tickets on when they get pulled over and they pass. And that's when they went to the.
We're friendly
CDLS.
people here in Iowa, but not that friendly. I'm
But we
just
need to
telling
do
you.
that with the mental health thing too, have a national record of it.
Means we're talking about the Mississippi River. This is kind of a personal issue for me, Carrie. And I know Andy was working on this, or I shouldn't say Andy, I said a representative was working on this in previous sessions. But you know Bellevue pretty well.
Know who?
And we're actually accessed by 2 state highways. So our business people are really enjoying this ATV, people coming into their businesses and eating and such. But there's only one road into Bellevue legally, Beaverding Ridge. Nothing from the north, nothing from the south, and very little from the west. So we're looking for some type of variance. I've had conversation, chit chat, talk with Shannon, but we just talked briefly and chit chatted about it. But it's an issue for us because it's only a quarter of a mile to the west or a quarter mile to the south, and we can hit the first improved road, which will get you anywhere you want to go. With the river being there, we're 3-sided anyway. It's pretty tough for us to get in and out. So. I don't know if there's anything, a variance. I've heard that there's other counties that have variances, so I don't know. I've never been able to get very far with it.
So you want that road open for ATVs?
Well, I would like an access from, yeah, if we could get one from the west and from the south anyway, which is, but we have to travel on a state highway. We're legal in town once we hit the city limits,
Yeah.
but to get to there is about a quarter of a mile or less than that. Either way, from the south and the west. So it would be State Highway 62 and State Highway 52 from the south and 62 from the west. That would give us access, for businesses and for people to get in and out of town.
Could you do me a favor and put in, a direct request, like what actually road access point and things like that you're looking at? And then I serve on the transportation committee, and there's good actors and there's bad actors in everything we've talked about today, so I know ATV is kind of
a direct request go to you or to?
Well, send me what you're looking for on the specific highway, the specific location. And then what I'll do is I'll get the DOT and my transportation committee to take a hard look at that and tell me what the pros and cons are.
That'd be great, because I know the ATV Commission had been working with even other counties, Jones County, and they have a specific, request, maybe, can we do this? Can we go to the first, and even for other towns, can we go to the first improved road? Or,
yeah,
we're just limited,
Yeah. Well, and that's the pathway I'm going to have to take is, there's a unique exception here.
Right. Well, yeah. And the rivers, of course, we can't cross that way. That's a little tougher. So unless we got a fencing players in the back, you can't legally get into town,
You want to talk about REAP at all?
Carrie?
Yes. Hi, Larry.
Yeah, REAP,
you want the I will funding?
Yeah, we really do need that funding.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much we can do. And even, now with the COVID thing, it's really come out. RV sales and stuff are up, I think, 30%, and other things are up like 400%. People are out there really doing this. We drove into Prairie Creek last night just to drive down and look around and see what the moon coming up was kind of cool. And that place is, it's packed down. People are in and out of there all the time. So there's a lot more going on. We just need to have a little more funding to make it more, just help people out. Times are stressful. People want to get out and do stuff. And if we can improve some of our properties we have, it'd be great. So.
The outdoors and the awareness of the outdoors is a positive that I feel like has came out. If there's any positive at all in this pandemic, it's been that.
Mm-hmm.
This girl bought a bike. I don't even usually bike. No, I know the importance of obviously REAP. Now it's going to be interesting to see where that funding's at, because, last year the governor rolled out, which we will hear her message on the 12th of January. So we're going to kind of hear her priorities and her budget and her process throughout that. And I think that's going to help drive the conversation a little bit. I've heard that she's got it in there. I don't know if that's true or accurate. I've also heard that there's a new tax proposal that's being worked on by some legislative leaders, and I have not even seen that either. So I'm interested to see how those two cross. We talk about mental health, and we've talked about this before. There's got to be some type of relief, or it's going to have to be a bipartisan effort on paper and in agreements on this whole tax increase. We all know that. Nobody wants to run their campaign and it's unfortunate. So it's going to have to be a bipartisan effort on both sides to get a mission like this accomplished. I'm going to be completely honest. So I'm interested to see how the mental health thing, that's where my heart is in it, and that's where my voice is in it. How can we fund and assist mental health with that REAP and the I Will funding? And that is, to me, going to be, how can we take all that off the property taxpayers so it's a give and win. And that formula was, well, we've talked about that many times. That's been obviously something that when we do increase taxes, that portion of that money is going to go there. So I don't think anyone disagrees with that. I know Senator Ken Rosenbaum has been working in his off time with the natural resources and that department to kind of see how this can tweak. But now we've got a senator that's really aggressive on a new tax overhaul and wants to completely get rid of income tax. Not all at once, but gradually. And so it's going to be interesting to see how all those conversations go around that table.
Yeah.
So, but thank you. Yeah. You know me, I'm a big promoter of our outdoors. To me, it's quality of life. It's tourism, it's economic revenue, it's an engine, same with ATVs. I mean, it's all hand in hand. We've got beautiful, you guys probably have the most scenic county pretty much in the state. I mean, why wouldn't we be actually utilizing those natural resources to our advantage?
You know, and we as a county, I mean, we've had the conservation board come in with their Prairie Creek and want to put in cabins and all of this stuff. And
Yeah.
we look at the cost of that, and they're wanting us to kind of sign off on that. And so we've had some real concerns. We've had some public that haven't been so excited about it. But I think there are a lot of things that the conservation board want to do with Prairie Creek to enhance the outdoor experience. And, you know, we aren't against that. It's just that we don't want it to be on the back of our taxpayers. And so any money or anything that we can get to help do whatever at Prairie Creek or any of our nature areas through the REAP funding is vitally important with the grants and other things that are available.
Yeah. Well, you've got a gym just awaiting over there in Sebula. I mean, I that's like eye candy to me every time I drove over there. It's like, this could be so cool. So
Yeah, it certainly is an asset to us. All of our campgrounds actually on the river, but
yeah.
the river is an access and it's also a liability in a sense too, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, we sure appreciate your accessibility and your communication with us, that you're willing to communicate with us and be at our fingertips, basically.
That's what I'm here for.
Well, we appreciate that. And I don't know if you've been informed, but the Farm Bureau is having a forum on the 30th
of January, correct?
January, yes.
Yeah. I've talked to Larry. Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, I'll be honest, this is a good platform. Like today, they're having a Farm Bureau meeting with all 3 counties joined, Jackson, Dubuque, and Jones in Piasta. My opinion is it's poor timing. It's holidays and da-da-da-da-da. But I did talk to all the Farm Bureaus, the leaders, and I said, you know, I'm willing to do all these forums, but we somehow need to coordinate them, because some days we're going, you know, 3 different counties, 3 different days, 3 different forums. Some days you're doing 3 forums. And it's like, sometimes we could collaborate those. So the 30th I do have on my calendar, and I know the next one, it's going to be at the Farm Bureau offices at 9 a.m. I have on my
That's so planned so far. I said, I asked Larry to maybe touch base with the Onward Arts facility because it is much larger. And he said, well, he didn't know what we'd have. I said, well, I don't know. To be safe, I don't know. I would talk to him anyway. So anyway.
Yeah, because, you know, and that's leads me into a great point too. You know, everyone's wondering how session's going to be and how these forums are going to be. And, you know, my thing is we all need to be accessible. And so please feel free to call me. I hope you all have my cell phone numbers. If you don't get that, or I can share that with you, or Mike has that, I know for sure. But feel free to reach out at any time, because some of these some of these bills
always
come
in the
up so.
Maquoketa newspaper, all your information.
Is what in the Maquoketa newspaper?
Yep, your address, how to contact you. They always have all the legislators down one side of the page with your picture and how we can reach you.
Okay. Well, you 3 make sure that you have my cell phone number, because, you know, these bills come across so quick. And, you know, we're in different committees, and we're not all sitting in all the same subcommittees and all the same committee meetings. And this stuff comes by so quickly. And obviously I'm focusing on my committees and my bills that I'm trying to pass and get through and garner, and take on my leadership roles as well. So sometimes these things are going on and you really don't know how they impact you until I hear from somebody back home. And so please feel free to reach out and do that. COVID or not, we need to be accessible. And that's something I really pushed for. we need to be at the Capitol. We need to be down there. We can't let this pandemic, my constituents didn't vote me in to take office to sit at home and wait for this pandemic to pass. I need to be down there and getting some stuff done for our district and our Iowa. And so
We appreciate
I
that,
think
Carrie. We
Yeah.
certainly appreciate that, and we appreciate the support you've given us in the past and working with us on different bills that we got through last year that's working out well for us. So
good.
you have Steve down there with you now, so hopefully that works out good. And we can have a direct line of communication with Steve also, so.
Yeah, I'm sure. Have you guys met with him yet?
He's not been in here yet, no.
No.
Okay. Yeah. You know, I met with Steve last week and I said, just remember we were all in your seat and I was in your seat 2 years ago. And it takes all of us working together. It truly does, across the aisle and all across Iowa. And so I look forward to working with Steve, and change is good, change is hard, change is an adjustment, but don't worry, it happens every day, every year in every seat. So we'll get through it. I think he'll be a good voice for the district.
I do too.
We work him
Okay.
over a little bit when he gets around here.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for all that you guys do. I know it's not easy, so thanks for stepping up to do your leadership too.
Thanks,
Happy New
Carrie. Have a
Year.
happy new year and a safe and healthy one.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy the snow I'm sending your way.
Thanks.
Yeah, put the ropes on it. Oh, okay. What do we have? We have Ryan yet, huh? We don't know if he's a,
I don't know why they haven't asked to get on yet either. I wonder if there's some miscommunication because they were
they scheduled at 11, okay?
Yeah.
Well, let us go into short recess again, and then we'll maybe make a phone call and see what we can do.
I just sent that to you. An email, I both emailed.
Okay, so on our agenda, we had a work session with Brian Swift from Schneider on our GIS capabilities and questions that we may have, and we're having some communication issues with them. So what would you suggest?
I move we table that till our January 4th meeting.
I would second that.
I have a motion and a second to table the meeting with Ryan Smith until the January 4th meeting with questions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay? Motion carried. Any other business before the board this morning? I think we talked about unfinished business and new business. Anything, concerns or comments yet for the board? If not, I wish everybody a safe and happy new year and healthy new year and
Yeah.
better, I guess all things considered, we come out of it pretty well so far, and hopefully we can move forward in 2021 and see the light.
I wish everybody a healthy and safe new year. I move we adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried, meeting adjourned. Happy New Year, everyone.